Wow, that trapdoor is getting harder to open. Maybe we should oil it or something.
Well, perhaps that's for the best, though. I mean, we've got some really sinister characters living down here in the Hall of Pain. We don't want them getting out too easily.
Good point. And to be honest, this health and safety visit has been long overdue. Remember the last time we came and Pyramid Head was trying to assault Stephen King?
Thankfully, I was able to intervene and distract him with a photograph of Sean Bean.
Yeah, it's a good job you carry that around with you at all times.
Yeah, can't be too careful, mate.
Anyway, hopefully Mr. King has fully recovered by now. Let's go and check on him first. Mr. King, how are things in there? We just want to check you're okay and whether you need your straw changing.
He's not answering.
Is that even definitely him in there?
Looks like it, although he's got his back to us.
Maybe he's escaped and that's just a cardboard cutout.
That would still be more charismatic than some of the shite we've got in here.
Let's try some of the others. Blair Witch Project? Blair Witch Project, we're just down here to check on you. Sorry, it's been a while.
Still no answer.
Maybe they're just trying to trick us into opening the cells. I mean, the suites.
Let's try some of them in the video game wing, over there.
Surely Dark Souls and Bloodborne won't let us down. Guys?
Wow, the silent treatment. I was at least expecting a sinister cackle or long, confusing monologue.
Let's try Mortal Kombat. Oi! Johnny! Xiao! Kung! Sub? Why won't any of you speak to us?
Wait a minute, who's this? Out of his cell?
Oh no, I'd recognise those spindly digits anywhere. It's only bloody salad fingers.
Listen, we know you're an honoured guest, but you can't just go wandering about whenever you feel like it. What's all this about, eh?
Hello. We'd like to tell you that we're all on strike.
On strike? What bloody are you playing at? Why?
We heard who you were covering in this week's show, and we are not happy. Not happy at all.
Why?
I know we're all dark and sinister and disturbing, but that bloke, he's an absolute creep.
Hello listeners, and welcome to Dark Natter, the podcast where we select a piece of dark fiction, boil it until all its flesh has disappeared, grind the remaining bones into powder, mix it with 1 part water to form an adhesive paste, and use it to decorate the walls of our bathrooms. I'm John Richter.
And I'm Liam Martin.
And we opened up with a little skit there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Did you enjoy that?
I did. Yeah, I mean, you've got to check the Hall of Pain every now and then just to make sure everyone's
correct
there, and it's sad to see they're not too happy.
No, they got wind of who we're featuring in today's episode.
I think my clue at the end of last...
might have given the game away.
Yeah.
That's probably where we went wrong. We should have kept it under wraps.
I think so. We won't make that mistake again.
We probably will.
Yeah.
And many others.
Well, we've made a lot of mistakes already, really, when you think about the kind of shit we put in the Hall of Fame, but yeah.
Well, maybe the standard is about to up itself, so to speak, today.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, it's my go, and as everyone knows by now,
it's my go, motherfucker.
It was last time.
You were salad fingers.
Oh yeah, it's your go.
Me go.
Amigo.
And well, tell him what it is we do first. Come on.
One of us picks a dark fiction topic, concept, work of art, or other bit of paraphernalia.
And pitches to other.
There you go, you're picking it up.
To other.
And their companion must adjudicate whether said piece of work is worthy of a place in the Hall of Pain. Beautiful. Got it down to a fine art.
That's a nice one.
And yeah, you're right. It is your go.
It is my go, yeah.
So, having already...
Quit being such a creep.
Why? Whoa. Them strong words.
I was talking about my pitch.
Oh, now I see. What do you mean by creep? Because there's at least 2 films with the same name, which gets a bit confusing.
It's the 2014 found footage horror movie called Creep, and its sequel, Creep 2. That's what I'm pitching.
Both available at time of talking about them on Netflix.
Both available on Netflix.
Because what you find is, when you want to watch a film, you
Yeah.
put Netflix on, because that's what everyone says. Oh, what's on Netflix?
Yeah.
Then you realise there's fuck all on Netflix.
Well, there is and there isn't. I know what you mean.
Film-wise.
I know what you mean, yeah.
There's some little gems, I guess.
Well, this is the thing. Without, interrupting, which I have.
It's okay, I do it a lot.
But Creep was something that I just kind of stumbled upon.
Yeah.
Didn't know much about it. Don't even know why I gave it a chance, because normally on those Netflix horror films, I tend to think they're all probably a bit crap.
Yeah.
But I took a chance on Creep, and you know what? I'm glad I did.
Did I watch it because you recommended it?
You watched it at my flat.
With you?
With me, which was the second time I watched it.
That you showcased it to
I
me.
showcased it to you.
And I liked it as well.
And you did like it.
So it's pretty obvious that whether it's going to get in the Hall of Pain then, isn't it?
Well, we've already done a skit on it. So,
But hang on though, listeners. Let's not be too hasty.
well, hang on. All of the entrants in the Hall of Pain are on strike because they assume it's going to get in there.
And because of all the freaks, weirdos, and assembled oddballs, lunatics, madmen, and creeps, quite frankly, that are already residing in the hallowed halls, they think this guy is so creepy that they can't tolerate his presence.
And you know what? They're not wrong.
What is it that makes him such a... Well, shall we first take a step back and just say who's in the film?
Yeah, go for it. Give us a rundown, John.
2014 found footage horror movie.
Yeah.
Incredibly micro-budget, cheaply made.
Yeah.
In effect, a double act, with only 2 actors really appearing in the entire feature. One of them is Patrick Bryce, who was the writer and director, or co-writer and director. The other, who helped to write it, and is in effect the lead and the star, is Mark Duplass, who plays the titular creep.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear from early days, even though we have lots to find out about his character, that there's something not quite right. But tell us the setup.
So the setup is the creep, the titular creep, puts an ad out on, I'm going to say Craigslist, not that I know what it is.
Yeah, we don't really have that,
we don't have
whatever
that
that is in the UK, but advertising type eBay, anything goes type free for all.
And he puts an ad out for some kind of documentary filmmaker to document.
He wants somebody with a video camera skills to rock up and make a recording.
Basically.
And he's offering good money, a few grand or whatever he's offering. So this entices, this is how he ensnares the aforementioned Patrick Bryce, who plays a character called Aaron. So
Aaron rocks over to this kind of fairly secluded place. Not totally secluded, but...
You get the impression it's up a hill in the middle of nowhere. I can't remember whereabouts in America it is. But it doesn't feel completely out.
There are other homes around.
I think so, yeah.
So he gets there, he meets our guy, and...
I think at first the guy's nowhere to be found.
That's right,
so he's knocking on the door, there's no one there. He's started filming himself.
Yeah.
So again, in these found footage movies... You always have to suspend your disbelief a little bit about why would they be filming this? But I guess if he's a video recording, what do you call him, a videographer? A camera dude, this might be quite normal for him to just film. Yeah, he's a filmer. He's filming himself, he's talking to the camera, he's saying,
in his car ride over.
Correct. He gets there, there's no sign of the person, he has a little look around the property. We do see signs of life there. There's an axe, a lumber axe. What would you call one of them? A wood axe?
An axe?
An axe, good, yeah. An axe embedded in a stump of wood. So it looks as though somebody lives there, but there's no sign. So he goes back to his car.
Then you get a first jump scare of the film. and then he goes in.
Yeah, well, this is where.
Do we have to do minute by minute?
We're going to. The film's about 1.5 hours
That's
long.
true,
It's going to take us about 4 hours to get through everything. Well, this is the first time we meet him, isn't it? We meet Joseph because he pops up at the window of the car and makes Aaron jump.
And the viewer.
It's a jump scare moment. There's a kind of, you are shocked and surprised. And I think it quickly establishes the kind of power dynamic, which is that even though Aaron is a big, not muscly, but he's a big, tall lad, looks fairly well built and strong, and Joseph is a little short arse, you still get the impression that Joseph's got the power.
Yeah.
And Aaron is a bit afraid of him.
It's on his turf, isn't it? And that's a good point, actually. I never thought of that. Even that's like a bit of a power play, isn't it?
Totally.
Like, I'm not there. What do I do? I'm going to get back in my car. I'm here. And it's just, it's creepy as well.
Exactly.
It's creepy as well because...
So from this point, everything that he does is very, very unpredictable and makes you, the viewer, and certainly the character of the cameraman, very, very uncomfortable quickly, even though he ostensibly is a very friendly man.
But that's the thing, he's too friendly, he's too familiar, and I guess this is kind of where we find out what the film is apparently about. He's making a film for his son because he says he is dying of cancer.
I think he says he's a cancer survivor, but now he's got a brain tumour.
Right.
And his unborn son, so his wife is pregnant with their child, he's going to die, almost definitely going to die before the son is born. So he wants to make a little video of his, dear old dad to leave to his unborn son. It's very sweet.
You can just... What is it about him that you straight away just...
He's got
you can just tell, can't you?
It's a brilliant...
Very good casting.
Great performance.
Brilliant.
Like, he really nails this... You can't put your finger on it, but he makes your skin crawl. And you can't decide, because you are torn, because at this point we don't have any reason to disbelieve him, but there's this sense of something's not quite right, but it does sound like a really sad story, and you wouldn't dream of turning down this situation now. What kind of horrible person would you be to refuse this offer for this poor dying man, even though he seems a bit weird?
But even the story is almost... It's like... I'm a cancer survivor with a brain tumour. It's like, really? Like, it sounds like a lie, doesn't it? But it's not something you would dare question because it's so horrible.
And so, of course, Aaron does end up inside the house where, I may have misremembered the exact running order, but pretty much the first thing that Joseph has in filming is him in the bath.
Yeah, which... Again, it's just really creepy. But if you were in that situation, because this is always the criticism of horror films, isn't it? Like, why wouldn't they just leave or whatever? But when would that be it for you? Would that be the red light that would make you leave? Or because I think it's still not extreme enough that you would still be kind of too polite.
Totally, I think.
It makes you feel awkward watching it and uncomfortable. And that's the brilliance, I think, of this film.
Because I think I pretty much would do everything that Aaron does in this film.
Yeah.
So the bath scene is, Joseph is talking about how bath time with his own dad used to be a very special time for him when he was a child. He calls it...
again is
a bit creepy. He calls it tubby time, doesn't he? He's talking about tubby. I'm going to give the little man a tubby time. And then he simulates the act of like washing his imaginary son's head, which sort of sounds quite nice in a way, but even the way he does it, his face that he pulls, and he's like, oh, and he's tipping the water on the little man's head. It's
just very creepy. It's just a bit much, isn't it?
Totally. And then he starts talking, and this again, he's met this guy half an hour ago. He starts talking about how he doesn't know if he's got the strength to battle the tumour. Sometimes he thinks about just ending his life. Then he holds his breath and just sinks under the water and stays there for 30 solid seconds, to the point where Aaron's like, Joseph, and then he pops out and gives him like a boo, ha ha, gotcha. Yeah. And then he apologises and he says, I'm really sorry, I've just got a messed up sense of humour. And so already you're like, red flags, this guy's weird. But somehow the power of his sob story, I think, would compel you to, well, I've turned up now, I'm getting paid.
Money, yeah.
I've told him
a long way.
Yeah. So he sticks with him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We meet his, well, I guess the other character in the film is Joseph is rummaging in a cupboard or something, and Aaron happens to spot a sort of a Halloween mask.
The wolf mask, basically, which is called Peach Fuzz.
He said, "Oh, that's just Peach Fuzz."
Yeah, it's there's a great bit. I don't know. I can't remember what episode it is in Family Guy where Peter gives a talk at school and he's dressed as like this wolf. It's about like the environment or something, like littering, and he's like this rabid wolf. But then he's like, see, guys, it just reminded me of that because it's so extreme and kind of frightening and like fierce looking.
He puts it on. It looks absolutely terrifying. Yeah. But then he does this ridiculous. Again, he says that it's his dad's. His dad invented the character. I think we're supposed to surmise that his dad's dead. And then he says, and Dad always used to sing this song. And then he sings this, which sounds like he's making it up off the cuff. Because it barely has a tune. Which if I can find it somewhere online, I'll cut it in.
Hello, my name is Peach Fuzz. I might look like I eat you up, but I'm as friendly as a rabbit, and I'd make a very good friend. Peach Fuzz, I am here, and there's nothing to fear.
It's just weird about how Peach Fuzz is this friendly wolf. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm as gentle as a rabbit, or whatever he says. And then they end up going out for the day, as I recall.
Then they end up going out into like the nearby woods to see this stone, heart-shaped stone.
Yeah, like a sort of a sightseeing.
One of those, like it's supposed to give you luck or whatever.
But Joseph's up to he runs off at one point.
Yeah.
Aaron can't find him. He's calling Joseph, where have you gone? Joseph's filming it all, obviously. And then Joseph jumps out and scares him again. And then he's very apologetic. He's just, I'm just having a bit of fun.
And he's getting quite cheesed off by this point, isn't he, Aaron?
Yeah.
He's sort of, the guy is kind of grating on his nerves and just little bits aren't quite checking out.
But then I think it's almost like just when Aaron's getting ready to naff off and pack it in, something will happen to just persuade him to just stay for that one. Yeah. In this case, for a while he doesn't even believe. I think he's starting to doubt whether Joseph even knows where he's going in the woods.
Yeah.
But then they find this heart-shaped rock. And again, you'd probably think, okay, I see what it's a heart-shaped rock. That's kind of sweet. Okay, I'll stick around and film this. And it almost seems like they kind of have a bit of fun in that section of the film. Just knocking about in the water around the rock.
I can't remember what happens in this bit. Then they just go back.
Well, they go for pancakes. And this is, I think, where you get the strong sense that, okay, so Aaron, like us watching it, doesn't entirely trust this guy. It becomes very clear because he challenges him in the restaurant. I think Joseph is like, hey, let's go for pancakes. Trust me, these are the greatest pancakes you've ever had. And then they get there and he's kind of looking at the menu, can't decide what to pick. And Aaron says, I thought you said these were the best pancakes. And he sort of, oh yeah, of course, but I was just checking whether they seem to have changed the menu. So you get this, okay, so Aaron...
He's starting to...
He's not completely stupid.
No.
But we've no reason yet to completely disbelieve him either.
No.
Other than that he's weird.
Because as far as he's concerned, he's just going to film for a bit longer, then he's going to go back home.
Correct.
However...
They get back to the house, this relatively remote, whatever you'd call it. It is a house, isn't it? Yeah. It's a couple of stories, quite a lot of rooms. An ominous siren going past outside. That's quite appropriate. And then Joseph ascends the stairs towards the front door, and Aaron waits at the bottom and tells Joseph he's gonna get off. He's done for the day. He's going to make a move.
Yeah.
And you get this great shot of Joseph lit. He's basically in silhouette. So he's like, it's dark background, the silhouette of Joseph at the top of the stairs. So even though, again, small in stature, he's looking down, clearly in a position of power. And he basically says, I thought we were going to have a drink just to commemorate our day and how well this project's gone. Come on, just one drink. And again, it's like, that's the moment when you would bugger off.
Definitely.
But you wouldn't, though, because this guy's paying you. You've done the job. He's offering you a whiskey.
Yeah. Has he even been paid yet for it, or...?
I'm not sure if it's clear that Aaron is threatening to leave without, for free, or whether he's trying to imply that he now's a good time to pay me.
Mm.
But either way, he agrees to go in for this drink, doesn't he?
And that is for me when he's made the fatal error.
Totally. So then he goes in. He caves in, goes in for the one drink. Joseph seems to be being fairly pleasant. But then it's this master manipulator. He says, Aaron, there's a check in your shoe. And Aaron has a look in his shoe, and Joseph goes, okay, there isn't really a check. But the point is you looked, which means you need money. So maybe we can come to some agreement and I can help you. So it's this power play that he's implying that he's this rich, soon-to-die, benevolent, slightly eccentric. And then, again, if you were Aaron, you might be thinking, maybe
I could make a bit of extra money.
Exactly. So then he sticks around. I think they have another drink. And this is when, somehow, the conversation leans on to Joseph wants to confess something. And he asks Aaron to stop the camera. Aaron turns off the video but leaves on the audio.
Yes.
And lies to Joseph and pretends that it's fully turned off. And this is where he basically says, I lied about peach fuzz.
Yeah. He used it when he broke into his wife's house to rape her. And
yeah, like it was him and his wife had some really bizarre sexual sort of thing going on around this mask.
Because apparently she was into animal pornography, and
he says he caught his wife looking at animal porn.
So that's why
he bought the mask,
which is
getting crazy.
I mean, that is like you mentioned earlier about the unpredictability. Who would have seen that coming?
And as a viewer as well, you may be thinking, he's going to say I used it in a murder, or I was abused by my dad. I didn't expect him to say my wife's into animal porn and therefore I bought it and raped her, but she liked it, so now I don't know how to feel. So at this point you're like, what
the fuck did I just hear?
Yeah, what's going on?
And you're thinking, right, get the fuck out
that's it now, done, over. And it's at this point that Aaron can't find his car keys are not in his jacket pocket,
and he ends up drugging Joseph's drink,
which is very resourceful.
Which is very resourceful, and it's kind of like, right, he's taking this seriously now. I think spot on. He does it.
He believes, in other words, he clearly fully believes that Joseph has taken and hidden his car keys, which he obviously has.
And that he's dangerous.
And it's good, again, that the protagonist does this instead of stupidly believing Joseph's, I don't know where your car keys are gone, maybe you dropped them in the woods. He clearly doesn't believe him, crushes up some sleeping tablets from the kitchen in the drink, unbeknownst to Joseph, manages to knock him out, basically, doesn't he? So you think, okay, time to do a runner then. Yeah. Until... he's trying to search Joseph for the keys while he's asleep, muttering, mumbling.
Then the phone rings.
The phone rings. Yeah.
This is the one bit I can't really figure out exactly how it all ties together, because his phone rings and it's Joseph's sister.
Well, it's Angela, which is what he said his wife's name is.
But it's his sister who basically tells him to get out.
Yeah, my brother's really ill.
Yeah.
Don't stay there. And she also asks for the address, which is when you realise that, this is not even his house. It's like a rental or something.
I guess what I find odd about this bit, the whole film's odd, but so where does Angela fit into this then? She's warning him, but is she part of the game, or is she genuinely trying to warn him?
And why
has he raped her?
Yeah, and the film never fully explains, doesn't give you the... And here's what actually happened with Joseph and what's going on. You're left to ponder, did he make up all that shit? Did he rape his sister? Yeah. Is this woman somehow involved in the scam? I get the impression she's
not.
Not, because she genuinely seems to be concerned for this stranger who's answered Joseph's phone.
But it could just be part of the game. Maybe she is his wife and it is a game they play.
No idea. So this is the best, sort of almost like one of the best pure horror moments of the film.
Brilliant.
He's gone into the other room to take the call because he doesn't want to wake Joseph up, who's lying on the fireplace, I think, completely passed out. Goes back into the front room.
He's got his keys.
He's found his keys by this point. goes back into the front room, and Joseph is not there.
He's not there. Anyway, forget that. He still goes to leave.
Yeah.
Runs down the stairs.
Yeah.
And there, standing at the door, is Joseph wearing Peach Fuzz mask, just growling.
Yeah. And he says to him, you know, what are you doing? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
He says, are you going to let me leave? And Joseph just shakes his head slowly. And I think that he says, what are you even trying to achieve? Are you trying to scare me? And Joseph nods slowly. That's great,
it's
bit,
the
isn't it?
best bit of the film. So then, but this is what I like about this film, is because at this point you think, right, he's screwed now, he's going to get killed now, or
this is the end.
He's going to be taken, captured, tortured, whatever. But he doesn't. He actually still manages to escape, get into his car and get away, which just the thought of doing that, of confronting and getting past the Peach Fuzz thing is just terrifying. And driving home, having experienced all of that and having to stew on that for me is more terrifying than if he had just, as a viewer anyway, if he had just got captured and killed. And
at no point does Joseph, so far in the film, appear to be any sort of capable mass murdering, serial killing.
No.
Actually, all he's done is just a little weird, mentally ill bloke who's dressed in a funny mask. He's not offered really any physical threat.
No, not physical threat, no. And even then he gets out in the...
Yeah, Aaron basically manages to successfully get away from him and overpower him, as he would, because he's a good foot taller than him.
And that's the point. I think I'm really happy they made the decision to let Aaron get away and escape.
Totally.
Because then we sort of move on to part 2 of the film. Because it is kind of a film of two halves, really, isn't it?
Totally agree. And up to this point, I guess I kind of thought, oh, right, the whole film is now going to take place on this one night.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And it's going to culminate in Aaron's death. That's what I thought. But actually, that's not the direction it takes at all. He escapes and we flick ahead in time.
It's just that unpredictability.
Brilliant.
You're predicting, right, all this weird shit, which, is unpredictable. He's going to get killed. He's going to get taken prisoner. It's going to be horrible. But no, unpredictably, he does manage to escape. But then what happens?
Well, it actually cuts to, we see a shot of Joseph dragging some bin bags up a dusty hill and starting to dig a hole with a spade. And at this point when I was watching it, I couldn't really work out how long it had been running, so I thought maybe this was the end. Yeah. And we were just seeing him bury Aaron's chopped up remains. Then pause, reveal that Aaron is watching this footage on the telly. He's still alive. It's daytime. He's survived the night.
Yeah, well done.
Which is where he explains that he got away, got his keys back, and had put the horrible incident out of his mind until he received this disc, a CD, in the mail, which has this footage on it. He doesn't understand what the footage means. He doesn't know what Joseph... Well, it's quite clear maybe what he's trying to imply. But what a unpleasant turn of events from Aaron's perspective. It's not his ordeal. His encounter with Joseph is not over, it would seem.
And that, I don't know what to say, really. I guess, what would you do in this situation now? So you would just do what he did.
Yeah, he phones
go to the police.
Phones the police. They say there's not much they can do. What, someone sent you a tape in the post. So like, what does that? Who cares? We've got bigger fish to fry.
But it's like, watch the tape. He's clearly killed someone and is burying them. Or
I know, but the police are not interested. So then we see him changing the locks on his doors. So again, he's not just stupid. Yeah.
Would you maybe just go on a trip, go somewhere?
That's a great question. What would you actually do? I think
because I don't know how realistic that is. Because now, me here now with a job, family, what would I really pack up and go? No, probably not. I'd probably think, well, I'm in my home. I'm
secure.
I can handle this.
If he turns up here, then I'll beat him up. You kind of convince yourself that you...
So you probably would just stay put, wouldn't you?
And again, I know I don't mean to major on this. I sound like a real heightist kind of person, but I still think Aaron would probably fancy himself... I mean, he's already successfully overpowered him, so has he really got that much to fear from this crazy guy? Maybe you get the impression he feels a bit sorry for him. He actually has a bit of compassion towards him, despite what's happened. He wakes up in the middle of the night and talks to camera about he can't stop thinking about Joseph and having these weird dreams that he's in. So it's really getting to him.
Yeah.
and then he finds another tape. I can't remember how many more there are, but in effect, there's this sort of campaign of harassment, basically.
Yeah.
There's a scene where...
Oh, God, yeah.
He wakes up in the middle of the night to hear a noise. Again, slightly implausibly films what happens, but he goes off into the flat, shouting, if there's an intruder here, I've got a knife. And you see Joseph at the window, just standing there watching him.
And doesn't he sends him the footage of him breaking in, doesn't he? Or of him...
Or he definitely sends him footage from inside his own flat. And then there's one where he sends him the culmination of it is he sends him a box with a little cuddly toy wolf in it and another disc. The disc is Joseph apologising for everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And, earlier he sent him a locket with both of their faces in it, almost like a love heart locket, as if they're like more than friends. They're not even friends. And that's when Aaron's like, oh my God, this has gone completely out of control. He throws it in the bin. Joseph has clearly broken into the flat and rummaged through the trash, because in this video he reveals that he's got the locket back out of the trash.
Yeah.
And he's saying, oh, this was hard for me to take. I thought what we had was special. But then I realised, and this is where it gives you the sense that he's finally having a moment of clarity. And he's like, oh, then I realised we don't know each other. We're not friends. What we have isn't special. You just answered my advert on Craigslist. I'm really sorry. Why don't we meet up and just put this behind us once and for all? He describes himself as like a lonely, sad, lonely man. And this is where maybe I wouldn't have gone to meet him off the back of this.
Again, I suppose the worry is if you don't meet him, he's going to carry on harassing you. Whereas
if you do, there's a chance you can finally end it.
You can reason with him, beat him up, because he's only short. You can maybe, reason with him, or you could even record it and, have some evidence to give to the police. So I kind of
can see why he did
it. I'm not sure if I would have, but I wouldn't. It's not one of those horror things where you say, what are you doing? It's...
what other options has he got?
I would...
Because ignoring this guy doesn't work, because he's already broken into his house on at least one occasion and keeps sending him these messages. So, maybe confronting him is the only option he feels he has.
Confronting him to threaten him, but
And he takes precautions. He rigs up the camera quite far from the meeting point that Joseph proposes is wide open space near a
part by a
lake.
Yeah.
So it's not, isolated. He puts his camera quite far away, pointing at the bench. He says to the camera, I've got the 911 on speed dial. Don't try it. If he tries anything, I'm filming it. And then he goes to sit on the bench.
And then you've just got this really long scene, this shot of just him waiting for Joseph.
And he even looks around at one point. He does look around, and Joseph's clearly not there. So he settles in, gets comfy on the bench, looking out across the water.
I do maybe think, though, whilst it's a big wide open space, we don't see anyone else, so it's pretty secluded still.
Yeah.
I think I would be more alert.
I agree with that.
That's the mistake he made, because then what happens is eventually Joseph appears on the screen with an axe, as we perhaps saw earlier, foreshadowing, and just holds it above his head.
Well, he at this point, he's just Joseph.
Yeah.
But then he takes the Peach Fuzz mask out of his jacket and puts it on, and then...
back of the head.
Yeah, he basically smashes him in the head with it. Which I can't work out how they did it, because it's a continuous shot. Joseph walks over to the bench, sits down, and then takes a full-blown axe to the head. I can't quite work out an inflatable axe. I can't work out how they shot it.
What do you mean? It's real.
Oh, I see. Is that why this film is really controversial? Of course, yes. So what am I saying?
They found the footage and put it online. No, I don't know. I'm not a filmmaker, but
he looks like he's split his head open.
Yeah,
basically.
And then it ends.
Well, there's the final sort of coda is cut to Joseph himself watching footage
Yeah.
Because he's obviously found the camera after killing him.
Yeah, and he puts it with a bunch of other tapes, each with a different name on.
Brilliant.
So he's clearly been doing this for years,
And
and
this
to
is-
countless people.
And that's when we realise, oh my God, it genuinely was all, it's all complete bollocks.
100%.
He's a murderer, he's a serial killer.
And this is just his thing.
He does say to camera, though, he even talks about that point about Aaron not looking around. And he says, the thing I could never work out is why you didn't look behind you. But then I realised it's because you're the greatest person that ever lived.
Yeah.
And you trusted me so much despite everything I did to you. And for that, I thank you for your beautiful person.
You're my favourite one or something.
Even though he's just smashed his head in with an axe and killed him.
Kind of basically suggests that he was the best one he ever killed.
He puts like an X on the CD of it as if it's like his, special friend. Wow.
Yeah.
What a nutter.
Big business in the end credits.
What?
The band.
Oh, is that the name of the band?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the end credits song was good. Because it's like a proper, like, metal.
Doesn't really fit in.
Good. Unpredictable.
Unpredictable, there you go.
But
great, I think, fantastic film. It's only about, like, an hour and 20.
Yeah, dead short, quick
really
fire.
short, could breeze through it quite quickly, and
tense.
Very tense. Yeah, there's not really a dull moment, is there?
Nope. I think it's real Netflix gem.
Yeah.
And I think, although I give Patrick Bryce credit for his involvement in filming it, editing it, directing it, I don't think he's the strongest actor in the world.
No.
Whereas Duplass's performance as Joseph the Creep is absolutely spot on. He's a real unique villain.
I think you could make the argument that him not being the best actor is almost kind of fits in with the whole found footage thing.
It sort of works.
Because
if he was upstaging Duplass, it might lose something if you had two very theatrical thespians.
Yeah.
Whereas there's clearly one star. It's Duplass, Joseph.
And
that's
slightly awkward Aaron.
Yeah,
that for me kind of works. I mean, that's maybe just being too kind, but yeah, great film.
Definitely worth your time. 100%.
And there we go, and that's Creep. 100% done and dusted.
And speaking of percentages, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it is a very well-regarded, critically acclaimed movie, as well as one that we like.
And there you go. That's the end of the episode. Nothing more to say here.
Or is there?
You mean...
There's a second film, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. I was hoping for a bit more theatrics, but
Hang on, I'll do it in the style of Joseph. What would he say? Liam, come on now. You know there's more of this yet to go. You can't leave. Why don't you join me for one more?
That was great.
For one more podcast.
Well, yeah, there is a sequel. In fact, apparently there's going to be they're planning a trilogy.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know. The sequel is okay, in my opinion. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's okay. I think, again, he carries it.
He's great.
He is very good, but it's not... Well, just give us a quick, brief overview. Maybe not go into as much detail, but...
One thing I did like about the sequel, two things, is we find out that Joseph is no longer called Joseph, he's now called Aaron. So he's stolen the name of his last victim, which is interesting. Was he ever called Joseph? That you realise.
His previous
exactly. Yeah. Maybe he just constantly changes his name to whoever he's just killed. He's now got a bit of a stubbly, trendy beard and a long hair and a ponytail. So he's evolved. Since
he looks a bit more manly in this one, doesn't he?
He looks like he's on like a health kick.
Yeah.
And he's trying to do like a bit of a... And he does come across as one of those people, like not quite spiritual, but self-help guru.
Yeah.
He talks in like these cheesy motivational quotes. He's very smiley and earnest, but without any
humour
or substance behind it. He comes one of those, but you see him on Instagram, all these inane, vacuous self-help quotes, and you just think, what? Really? I don't know, maybe that's just me. I find all that stuff a bit false, insincere. But
you're a miserable son.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to go and get my axe if you're not careful.
Please don't.
I'm taller than you, which, as we've already... You win. You win, Mr. Fuzz. In this time, he's firing out his adverts again.
Yeah.
This time, he again, unspecified documentary, need help. I'm offering money. A young woman turns up who it's already been established. She's trying to run like a YouTube self-made series called Encounters, which is about her responding to Craigslist adverts and going to meet with weirdos.
Really weird people, yeah.
So it's quite a clever explanation for why she would put up with all the shit that goes on, because that's what she wants, footage of a nutter, basically.
Quite a good idea for a YouTube channel as well.
Maybe we should do that.
Yeah. Although, is it a bit exploitative, maybe?
Well, no, what I mean is weird and nutters.
Oh, right.
We could ask a video, someone could come and film us, put it on YouTube.
I'd watch that channel, but of course it's a failing channel. She's not really getting many views.
Correct. So that's it's just a helpful, slightly far-fetched, but it helps you suspend your disbelief about why she doesn't just get the hell out of there in the first minute of meeting him. Because, of course, he gets naked again.
Well, hang on, there's a bit before that, though.
Oh, yeah?
Where you meet another friend of his.
It's got a little intro, hasn't it, before all this stuff, where it's... Oh, this is brilliant, actually.
This is very good, actually.
There's a guy, I think his name's David, a nice young Asian dude, who is watching... He's being filmed, watching something on the telly, looks disturbed and upset about it. Then there's a knock on his door. He answers the door and welcomes in his friend. Yeah. Tells his friend about the video. His friend expresses concern. Oh, he's not sent you another video, has he? Sits down in view of the camera. We realise it's Joseph. So not only is he sending this poor guy videos, but he's also befriended him and he's masquerading as his mate.
And gave him the advice to set up cameras in his home to basically film this encounter.
Which is why we're able to watch it. And, Joseph kills him.
And then he says, I've got a confession to make.
Tells him basically what's going on and that he's filming him right now. David's like, I think you should leave. And then he slits his throat with a knife that he's got concealed. Blood sprays all over the wall. And welcome back. Joseph's at it again. Oh, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Creep or Creep 2...
You're only just doing this now?
No, I'm going to move it. Okay. I'm going to go back and put it at the beginning. Yeah, just for the record, we're 44 minutes into recording and we've just realised we forgot to do a spoiler alert. But through the seamless magic of editing software, they'll think we remembered 43 minutes ago.
Okay.
Trust me, Gov. Or I might just leave it in here and then it's funny. So it's reminded us, if we'd forgotten, that Joseph is a terrifying...
He's a
creepy murderer. But, of course, from the perspective of the young lady, whose name is Sarah, she thinks he's probably a harmless sort of crank, even though he comes in fully nude.
Yeah.
And he's trying to say, oh, we've got to break down barriers. I don't want there to be any barriers between us if we're going to make this film. Oh, and he's told her that he's a serial killer.
Well, this is the thing. Again, this is the one thing I quite like about the sequel. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first one, but I do quite like the fact that he's not trying to con her. He basically tells her straight away that he is a serial killer.
I'm an active serial killer.
And actually, she's not sure if she believes him or not.
Well, I think she doesn't believe him, but she does believe that he's clearly highly bonkers and therefore will make great footage for this documentary, because she does say it in a little piece to camera that she doesn't believe him. He, meanwhile, confesses to, I think, 39 murders and says he's lost his mojo. Yeah. So if she helps him make this film, then he will promise not to kill her for 24 hours. What it then, among the many, many crazy things that happen, he tells her his intention is to commit suicide, which, again, he did that in the last film. Some of his outbursts seem like he genuinely is
maybe
suicidal and depressed at times, bipolar. Other times you think it's all just part of his Machiavellian manipulation. Yeah. But in this case, he actually full-blown hangs himself, and she has to ditch the camera and go and grab his legs to stop him from dying. Only for him then to reveal he was wearing a harness, so there's no way he could have. So she's just been psychologically battered from pillar to post.
But she sort of matches him
his jump scares don't work on her.
She jump scares him a couple of times. The
She's
naked
strong.
thing, he comes out naked, so she gets naked as well to sort of
And he's
say, "Yeah, I agree. We should do it." There's another bit in the bathtub where he's all depressed in the bath, and she gets in and kind of bathes him,
as if she. And I
as
think
if she's sort of like mothering him almost.
I think you get the impression from her perspective, she's trying to keep him on side so that she gets more of the footage that she wants, play along with his whims and his what she thinks of as maybe slightly harmless insanity.
Mm.
Whereas from his perspective, I think he's genuinely fascinated in this woman, that he's almost like, oh, wow, my 40th victim is...
She's harder to break down.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be upset by any of my shenanigans.
She's got me.
Yeah.
She's creeped me.
And then
do you get the impression with her that is she kind of just acting, playing along, or is she just a bit damaged herself and maybe...
She's quite a fascinating character that you don't really see much of, because again, in short movie. But
I wonder, not a cry for help, but if she is...
got her own
whether
issues.
she's just playing along, like you said, to get more footage and better footage, and maybe it's a survival thing. She thinks, actually, if I play him, he'll find me interesting enough not to kill. Or maybe she is just a bit damaged herself.
She comes across...
I don't know. It's hard to kind of pin down. And I think that's why she's a very good character, because I don't think it's quite clear what her motivation is. Because she does seem quite despondent about her YouTube channel. And,
failing.
Yeah, and why is she doing that? She wants to be noticed, she wants fame, so...
Yeah, what's she actually trying to achieve with the YouTube channel? Not just have a YouTube channel, what is she actually trying to do with her life?
She wants to be... Yeah, so it's hard to kind of pin down what... Not her motivation is, but what I guess why she's playing along. Is it a survival thing? Is it...
She feels to me like one of those people who, I guess, you can almost break down types of people in a way, and everyone's unique, but equally people do fit into categories. I feel like I've met some people who are... It's important to them to be and to appear very worldly wise and non-naive. So, in the way that if somebody... I don't know, if I saw somebody doing drugs, I'd be quite shocked.
Yeah.
But they would not be shocked, or they would certainly play up that they were not shocked and not bothered.
Well, they're doing the drugs.
Especially if they were the ones doing the drugs. But do you know what I mean? Like, that type of person who's really, like just non-phased by... society.
So you walk into a kitchen and someone's doing some low, I would be quite like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But the person you're with, like... Oh, got any for me?
Yeah, or they're talking about where they've travelled. Oh, yeah, I remember when I was lost on my own in the jungle and I had to find my way back, and I got mugged in Belize, and then, meh. I feel for explaining this very badly, but these people who just pride themselves on, they've been in all manner of scrapes, but, hey, don't worry about it, it's no big deal, we've all been arrested, we've all been on our own in scary places. So... it feels like that's the type of person she is.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, nothing phases me. This wacko being naked in front of me, it's like, meh, shrug, I'll just get naked myself.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It could be that.
No big deal. But, and I suppose, in all honesty, I guess I find those people quite annoying.
Yeah.
So it's quite good when she gets her comeuppance. Sorry, that's a terrible thing to say. But she doesn't deserve it because she's a nice lady and he's a horrible creep. What?
I guess before I saw the film as well, my impression, based on what I read, was that she out-creeps the creep. She is... I actually thought the second film was about her sort of finding out about him and kind of becoming his disciple. That's how when I go into it, that's what I thought the film was about. That she was actually... She wanted to be like him, but of course it's not like that.
Yeah.
But so maybe in my head, I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm looking into a character as being somebody who's kind of just a bit damaged already. But I don't know.
It's definitely, and again, very well received critically. Lots of good reviews, and they certainly like the sort of, again, power play, dynamic, very odd chemistry between the two.
Yeah.
So certainly worth a watch. The finale, he takes her out into the woods in the dark, tells her this is going to be the final bit of the film. And he reveals that there is a pre-dug grave. I think at this point he tells her that they're going to die together.
Together, yeah.
Then he chases her around the woods a bit with a knife, ultimately culminates in her being stabbed brutally and falling into the grave. He then does a piece to camera where he's very grateful for her giving him his mojo back, and what an amazing person she is. But then actually, she manages to drag herself up out of the grave, clearly not dead, and smashes Joseph Aaron, whatever his name is, the creep, in the side of the head with the spade. And that's your kind of cut end moment. But then there's the little coda again, isn't there?
So it looks like she's killed him.
He's got his comeuppance finally.
So she's, despite going through all that, she's survived. We see her again later on. But then we basically see her being filmed in New York.
Yeah, you realise again that, this film doesn't show us any footage other than what's been recorded on a real camera. So you realise that her wanderings around New York, someone is filming her.
Yeah, and you hear the tune being whistled from...
The Peach Fuzz tune is whistling it.
So obviously he survived.
Yeah.
And presumably she's for it, but
we don't know.
We don't know.
So you're left, by the end of this film, you feel like you know even less about him than at the end of the first one, because he doesn't even have a name by this point. No fixed abode.
So, I wonder, obviously there's going to be a third film.
I suppose it almost is why would you not make it? Because it's so low budget, just all you need is a video camera, handy cam, the two actors wanting to appear in it, or in this case it was a different second actor. It was like, who plays Sarah? We forgot to mention her, and she does a great job.
Desiree Akhavan.
I've not seen her in anything else. But very strong performance, very charismatic.
Appropriate behaviour, miseducation of Cameron Post.
Yeah, so she's been acting. Her filmography dates back to 2009. So yeah, she's pretty well-established actress. Oh, she's an LGBTQ activist in the film industry. Good on her. Keep tabs on her. See whether she'll be in the third instalment. I don't know.
She's not. So it's not listed there in her Wikipedia entry. So
maybe she's just a one and done in terms of this series.
And then I guess it's did she get killed or not? Probably yes.
It could just be left hanging, but we'll see.
What do you think they should do for the third one then?
It would seem to lend itself to another. He's enticed someone with a video camera to come and film him, so he can do all his crazy suicidal manipulation, up and down, unpredictable antics. Which in the second one, some of them are almost quite funny when he's having that tantrum in the woods because the birds won't be quiet. He starts throwing stones at them and screaming and shouting. But I can't work out what's the cover story for why is the person going to fall for it yet again, and B, I can't work out what more there is for him to do.
No.
But I'm sure they'll think of something.
But then again, they made about 10 Paranormal Activity films. So.
They're all shit.
I liked them.
I've never seen them, so I've seen one of them and I liked it. Why did I say that?
You're a prick, mate.
Terrible. I apologise to Paranormal Activity. Which I reckon
I've seen the first three and they were good.
First one, I reckon, was a bit inspired by Ghostwatch.
Yeah.
Which we, of course, have covered on this show many moons ago.
Third one, I don't know. I don't think I'd be satisfied with just another creep standard formula. Maybe Angela in it again.
It's one of those where you don't want sequels that erode the quality of the original. Because although the second one is a good film, an entertaining 1 hour, 20 minutes or whatever it is, I still think the first one was better. And I maybe preferred it just as a standalone film. So if we now get a third one...
Didn't need a sequel.
No, so is it just yet another thing that gets... A thing that becomes a trilogy because the first one was quite successful? Can't we just have successful one-off good films and leave them alone?
Didn't need a sequel, but they probably did about as much as I think as they could have done with the sequel. So he same setup, but instantly reveals who he is, what he's done.
Yeah.
She matches him, kind of.
Yeah, unlike Aaron in the first film, who is completely terrified by him and seems completely on edge throughout. She's a very different, almost the opposite. So what else can they do with that?
What can they do, yeah.
Maybe, we'll see. We eagerly await the new one to see what they do with it.
So, that's Creep.
Excellent pitch.
I think, yeah, great film. And also the found footage stuff as well. What I think I like about it is most of the film, because he's making a documentary, a lot of the film is they've set the camera up to film a scene, which makes it quite easy to watch. You know, it's not one of these, oh my God, we're looking all over the place, what's going on, making you feel kind of motion sickness. It's quite well done. But when there are moments of like genuine fear, like the Peach Fuzz bit when he has to escape, the found footage thing kind of lends itself well because you don't really know what's happened until it cuts to the next scene. So I think the found footage thing works quite well in this film, and well explained as well.
Totally agree. There's a really believable
justification.
In-movie justification for the found footage thing existing, the camera flitting between the protagonists. And I kind of thought the found footage genre, in effect, been done to death. But this shows that you can still do something good and original. And of course, the beauty of the found footage genre, for horror in particular, is you can make a movie with a budget of bugger all, and it can still be tense and interesting and compelling.
Sort of cheaply, quickly, and still very scary.
So, decision to be made. Does Creep make it in to the Hall of Pain?
Just like a Band-Aid, like a plaster, just rip it off. Just rip it off. I just want to know.
They're all on strike. Stephen King's on strike. Tim Lovejoy.
I know.
They're all going to be really unhappy if I let it in, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, here goes. Here's the decision, right? It's in.
Okay, that was all right, wasn't it? So join us next time when we explore something else.
So it's my pitch next time.
Other.
To which is you.
Yeah.
My pitch to you next. Oh yeah, next time's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll keep it. Don't want to cause any unrest.
No.
I've learned that lesson. Lesson learnt. This time, I'm going to be keeping it carefully under wraps. I guess you could say it'll be an interesting roll of the dice if you're playing a game book with dice in it. I don't know. I couldn't resist.
Stupid son of a bitch.
Oh no. Oh, I can hear someone knocking on the trapdoor from underneath. It sounds like the riot's starting again. You better get that.
Keep it down there. Get
that cattle prod and get down there. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Yeah, all 80 of you.
See you. We might have got another one since I checked. Could be 81.
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
And your loved ones.
We like making this, but we want more listeners to assuage our fragile egos. So please
Was this the best episode? Probably not. Was it the worst episode? Probably.
Possibly, yeah. It probably could be. Let us know.
We enjoyed making it.
We hope you enjoyed.
I mean, I find it a pain in the arse, actually. So stop listening. Don't tell anyone. Let's just give up, mate.
Yeah,
Let's just give up.
I think you're probably right.
Give up at everything.
I'm convinced, though, that this next episode is going to be the one that's going to propel us into the stratosphere. We'll be like podcasting royalty.
I might start making films instead. Does anybody want to make a film?
You offering any money?
A few thousand.
Sounds almost like an offer you couldn't refuse.
Just come here and I make a film about me.
Why are you putting on that mask? I'm out of here. We'll see you soon. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you all once again for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it and apologise for the slightly ropey sound quality due to some technical issues, which is a euphemism for a really stupid cock-up with the microphone. Please rest assured that our normal sound quality will be resumed from our next show in 2 weeks' time. As usual, it's just take from me in this final bit of housekeeping, so the usual please apply. 5-star reviews are really helpful, and we'd also love to hear from you on social media, where you can find us on Twitter or Instagram if you search for Dark Natter. And I personally would love it if you take a look at my website at www.john-richter.com for books and weird stuff. More than anything, we'd be delighted to receive some suggestions for future episodes, so do please fire them to us by email at darknatterpodcast@gmail.com. We'll be back, as I mentioned, in a fortnight's time with something a little different that we're sure you'll enjoy. Meanwhile, don't have nightmares, or if you do, make sure they're at least good quality, entertaining ones. See you soon!